Hello and welcome, my friends. Alonso here. Today, I'm going to show you technique number 4 of my 5 ways to start a synthwave track, and it's called spontaneous inspiration composition. I know it sounds super complex, but it's actually very easy and enjoyable. And then I'm going to turn the idea that I generate using this composition method into a very short track over the course of, I don't know, an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2. We'll see how long it takes us and how much fun we're having. As a reminder, the Synthwave Idea Machine Bootcamp will kick off on April the 8th. So on this bootcamp, you'll learn how to use the method that I'm going to show you today, as well as the other 4, of course, to get to 5, over the course of 4 weeks in an online program with a small group of synthwave producers from around the world. All right. And if you're watching this and you'd like to know more about the bootcamp, then just follow the link in the description. And if you're watching this after the bootcamp has launched, then don't worry. Simply follow the link and send me an email to get added to the wait list for the next one. So if you want to kill writer's block and lack of inspiration when starting synthwave tracks, this is your best shot. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. I see Mick. I see Kennard. Great to have you guys. Alrighty. Spontaneous combustion? No, hopefully not. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. Alright, my friends. Let's get this party started. So what's the deal with spontaneous inspiration composition? I know it's a mouthful. Well, it's very simple. It's spontaneous because you play, let's say, with your synths, whatever samples you have, your tools, your DAW, any effects processors. You're just fooling around, noodling until you find something that you like, something that sparks your curiosity. And it is very important because we have to be in a playful state, in a playful mode, meaning that we just play with our tools, kind of like noodling on the guitar, and just try different patches, different synths. And when something interesting comes up, that makes our ears perk up and say, that sounds kind of cool, then we'll experiment and explore with that, right? We're not sitting down with the expectation of coming up with the next Stairway to Heaven or the next, I don't know, On the Run by Time Cop 1983. We just are trying to find something to get us going, something that we say, that sounds kind of cool. All right, and as reference, here are the complete 5 ways, or the full 5 ways to start a synthwave track, which are random parameter generation, direct influence, indirect influence, spontaneous inspiration, and divine inspiration. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be showing direct influence and indirect influence in a couple of live streams tomorrow and Friday, so be on the lookout for those. All right, so what I'm going to do today, like I said, like it says here on the tin, I'm gonna play with patches, play with some synths until I find something that I like. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I have no idea about the tempo, key, or anything. I'm just gonna noodle and play with something until I get a little bit of a curiosity. All right, and for this one, I decided that I wanted to use the great and awesome PG8X synth, which is free, by the way, and it works very well on Windows. Don't remember if it works well on Mac. In any case, so I have my own sound bank, which I shared a couple of months ago or something, which you can get for free at synthwavedojo.com/downloads. But just for fun, let me play with Timecop's PG8X sound bank, which is really, really good. You can get it at the Patch Bay UK, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's see where we are. Okay, this is Timecop's awesome patch bank. Let's see, what do we have here? Right there, that's my spontaneous inspiration. I could run and create a very cool idea with this right out of the gate. But let me keep going. Sounds very cool as well. It's a bass patch for now. I'm not gonna play with any bass. Ooh, nice vibrato bell patch. Very nice. I could also do some serious damage with that. Tubular bells. Dear Lord, 5 for 5. Attack brass. Okay, it's a kind of a low octave patch. Very cool. Nice. Blade Ruin. This sounds really good to me. Really, guys, I don't know. I've gotten 7 sparks of inspiration just playing with the first 7 presets that I ran into. First, this is testament to how good Timecop's PG8X sound bank is, and also how, I don't know, if you're in the right mood, anything and everything could sound good to you. Cool. Let's see. And I could go on like this for like 5 hours, really. Let's go with this patch. Let's see what we can do. By default, my project is set up with the tempo at 105, and I have just a very simple loop. Let's see if I like this tempo and if there's something that I can do with it. Very dreamy. I like this kind of vibe very much, and going with the spontaneous inspiration thing, I'm just gonna run with this tempo. I like it very much. So let me do this. I want to arrive at an 8-bar loop. So I'm going to call this... where am I? Here. Okay, so this is going to be my main stack, or 8-bar loop. And for now, let me just duplicate this pattern. I'm going to change it in a few minutes, but for now, okay, I know that I'm going to call this Blade Runner lead. Oh, Blade lead. Oh man, ain't that glorious? Okay, I know that I can find a melody or a lead with that sound super, super easy, right? I'm not worried about that at all. What I want to do now is come up with a bass line. I'm also going to use PG8X. Let's see if we can find a good bass patch here in Timecop's sound bank. I know that I have a few very good bass patches in my own. In case, hit us with your best shot, Timecop. Come on, let's see. Real bass, like a real hero, possibly? No, I want something a little pluckier. Short bass. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this could work. Let me see. No, not the real bass. Like a mini Moog bass, sustain bass. It's actually okay, resonant sustain bass. Cool, but not what I was looking for. Let's see. Strings. Heavy bass, maybe? No, it's not the kind of sound that I'm looking for. I just want a run-of-the-mill fat line bass kind of patch. I'm just a sucker for that Korg fat line bass sound. Mono bass, maybe. No, I want something less fluffy. And if I don't find a patch in the next 15 seconds, I will use one of my own. Maybe this chorus bass. Okay, that's close, but no cigar. All right, for the bass, I think I'm gonna load my own patch bank. Not that. Oh, let's not get started down that path, guys. Okay, fat line bass, chorus maybe. Yeah, let's start with this one. I think it'll work quite well. All right. What I played was in the key of C major, so let's stick with that just to make things simple on ourselves. And I liked starting with a tonic, C in this case. Now that's too high for a bass. And at this tempo of 105, we could play either 8th notes or 16th notes in our bass. Or oh, and now that I sung that, I think I want my bass line to, or the chord changes to anticipate the downbeats of the bar. So not change on the downbeat of every bar, but anticipate that. If that was too confusing, don't worry. Okay, let's do 8th notes. Or is this a 16th? Okay, 8th notes. Okay, I want something not so choppy. Like that. Yeah, this version, the fat line bass chorus, has a little bit more sustain. And I can also open up the decay. Yeah. Okay, let me get the pattern down, then I'll worry about the sound. All right. What about... Okay, and from here, what if we went down to A minor? Let's see how we like it. And from here, what if we went down to F? But let's do this. Let's change in the middle of the bar. Okay, I like that. And why not, instead of having just a 4-bar progression, let's go for an 8-bar progression where there's some change. And I always do this, that I loop where it says 8 bars, but it's gotta extend all the way out to 9. That always gets me. All right. So here, let me go back to C, just so it's very clear that C is our tonic. But second time around, let's do G. I like that. Cool. So all we're doing here is for bar and half, we're playing C. For half a bar, this is D minor, or it could be a G inversion, not sure yet. In any case, then on the third bar, we're playing A minor. The first half of the fourth bar, playing A minor. The second half, we're almost like a beat and a half, we're playing F. Then we go back to C, same thing, D. And instead of going to A minor on the 7th bar, we're going to G for bar and a half, and use F as you kind of turn around. All right, I like that. Let's work on tweaking the sound a little bit. I like it like this. It's a good combination of choppy and openness. But let me bring down the envelope just a little bit so it gets just a little darker. Not bright like that. Nice. This to me is sounding really, really good, my friends. Okay, I'm just gonna make a 250 hertz cut here to get rid of some of the woofiness in the bass, some of the tubbiness. But Q of 3. All of that I don't want. All right, and just for fun, let's compress this thing with a kind of a one knob compressor thing. You can use any compressor that you have. It doesn't have to be this one. I just like the simplicity in certain processors. Alright, I'm liking this very much. And while we're at it, I'm gonna get to the drums in a second, but let me just calibrate to make sure that we have good levels. I typically like to set my kick to peak at -6 dBFS and the snare close to that, and the hi-hat by ear. And from here, I use this starting point as an anchor to start my mixes and my productions. So now I'll just raise the level of the bass until it feels good to me. Your bass, the level of your bass could be, let's say, with the band, right? It feels just as loud as the other elements. It could be behind the band, a little weak, maybe, where it's a little softer. Or it could be in front of the band, like one of the biggest things that you hear is the bass. For example, the awesome synthwave artist College, which is I would say my all-time favorite, his mixes and his productions are typically very bass forward. Like the bass is in front of the band most of the time, like super monolithic and in your face, almost drowning out a lot of the other elements. And that's his style, and that's awesome. Now, in the 80s, a popular way to set the bass was just a little bit behind the band where you would feel it more than hear it, but the bass, for the most part, would never be the most dominant element in your mix. If you listen to Madonna, listen to Michael Jackson, listen to Prince, there's adequate bass. It's not heavy and super upfront bass in that kind of synth pop, right? And that's also a sound that I like very much. Or where it's just a little bit behind the band, or where it's supporting the band, with the guys in the band at the same level. Those are three great approaches. So I'm just gonna raise the fader here. I'm not looking at the meters because the meters don't tell me anything about loudness in this case. So I'm just gonna raise it until the bass feels nice to me, not overpowering the whole thing and not too weak. I think here sounds good to me. This is a great starting point, and of course, as we make progress, I can tweak the level of the bass, higher or lower, of course. While we're at setting up stuff, let me swap some of these drum sounds. Today, for whatever reason, I just remembered the super awesome Akai XR10 groove box or samples, which I hadn't used in a while, but I know that it has some really nice punchy samples, and I want to go for that. Okay, let's do this. Let's listen in context. No. Sounds too real. I have nothing against real sounding snare drums, but it depends. It just gets me too much into a contemporary or pop kind of sound as opposed to synthwave, which again, it's more a preference thing. It's not really wrong. This is a very cool Simmons drums kind of sound. This could certainly work for this piece. Not that one. This one I like. It's very punchy. It's got a great smack. That piccolo, no. This one's too soft. I think number 5. Yeah, let's work with this one, but I'm gonna make it shorter. I want to add my own gated reverb to this thing, so I don't want the full tail like that. So right there, it's very cool for a starting point. Let me just check the level. Even though it's in a similar level to the kick, remember what I told you about the value that you see in a peak level meter or a DBFS level meter like this doesn't tell you anything about loudness. When I set the snare to peak at the same value as the kick, the snare sounds way louder. It's because of the frequency content and the attack, etc. So it gets to a point where I set my kick to this level visually with my eyes, but the rest of the elements I mix them in by listening, not watching the meters. Sample right there. That's very nice. Okay, hats. Still in the Akai XR10 sample folder. I want a closed hat. There's only one. Okay, I think it'll work. That's fine. And open hat, up hat. Okay, but the level is too low. me a second. Calibrating the level of the open hat and the closed hat samples in my drum machine plugin. Okay, now I can bring them down substantially. I could pan them just off center a little bit. All right, cool. And while we're at it, let's take a look at all the other drums. Not sure if I'm going to use a clap or not, but in any case, I'm going to select this one. Yeah, sounds good to me. Crash. Do we have a crash? That'll do. Tom 1. Oh, I like this kind of sound. This one sounds really good too. Like the number 3 version. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 3. So high tom, mid tom, and low tom. Cool. And shaker, just in case we need one. Is there a shaker here? Crash, crash. Maybe Kabasa. Well, the Tamb will do as a shaker if we need one. Okay, tom 3 is super loud. And some of this stuff, I think I've never showed you before, like selecting drums and then considering their levels and making them shorter or longer. But I think it's worthwhile every once in a while to see this, right? Just so you can see some of the hurdles that I have to jump over to get something into shape. Cool. Okay, so we have our drums. And I'm not gonna do anything crazy with the EQ. Let me just boost the bottom end of this a little bit, and let me get rid of a lot of boxiness here in the low mids. I like where that is, same as with the snare. If I can, you see that this snare fundamental is at 200 and something hertz. It's like practically has nothing down here, so it's a very thin sounding snare, which is fine. Let me just get rid of some of the boxiness in the mid-range, low mids. But let me get this away from this fundamental. And this high end sounds a little sandpapery to me. So I'm gonna tame it a little. Cool. Cool or cool. Now let's see if we can give our snare a little bit more of a slap with some compression. Let's see what we can use for this. Alright, let's go with the... Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go with this. This is additional compressor. And again, any compressor that you have will work just fine. Okay, don't remember if I have a preset on this one, but in any case, my default compressor settings for drum shells, such as kick, toms, and snare, are attack at 30 milliseconds, ratio 4:1, that's fine. Release, in the case of the snare, around 100. And hard E. And I'll bring the threshold down until I see about 3 to 4 dB of gain reduction. I don't want to go too much like that because it sounds too compressed. Like that is fine. And I'll set the release to where I see this gain reduction meter going back to 0 just before the next hit. I could still increase it a little bit. Right there, that's fine. And make up gain to recover the level that we lost. Now this one got very, very slappy. Nice difference there. All right. And why not? Let's add a little bit of gated reverb. Alrighty, my friends, here we are. Let's go with the some kind of gated reverb preset. Is there something like Collins or gated? The Non-Lin Legend, probably that's the one that I'm looking for. Nice. I'm liking this very much, my friends. Okay, I think we have the drums in a very nice spot. Let's come back to the Blade Runner lead. And let's see what we can come up with. And I think today, I'm just gonna try to create this initial idea or this main stack with, I would say, 4 or 5 layers. We already have the bass, that's one. We already have the drums, that's the second one. I'm gonna work on the lead, that's the third. And then I'm gonna go plus 2 more, possibly some kind of arpeggio or a pad. I'm hearing some nice strings here, and maybe a chord, some kind of chord pattern. So I'm gonna pick 2 of those additional harmonic support components or parts, right? And I really like to start out my ideas with only 4 or 5 elements, not with 10 or 12, because as I like to say, and I say this a lot, if you create 12 parts or layers for your initial idea, once you get into the arrangement stage and trying to turn this thing into a full-length track, you have a very strong tendency of trying to cram all those 10 or 12 different parts into the arrangement, and maybe the arrangement doesn't need all those parts, but it's very hard for us as producers because we think of those parts as our babies. So if we created this is our baby, I have to use it because I love it so much. But that's why I like to show restraint and just focus on the most important things of my main idea. Ultimately, if I have some kind of nice pad strings or maybe an arpeggio that is going to be like an identifying characteristic part from the track, that's cool. But I don't want to dress it up in a whole bunch of stuff that it's not necessary for the track. So I recommend you do that when you create your initial ideas. do it with 4 or 5 elements at the most. Certainly, once you're in the process of turning it into a full-length track, you'll find out that you can add more parts if you need to, right? But don't do it right out of the gate. All right, so coming back to our lead. Okay, let me get the octave up. And here I'm just trying to find something that works. What I did there, I liked it very much. Let me just add a little bit of delay. Delay always makes things sound better, at least for me. And I can't imagine a lead without some delay and reverb. Okay, now, obviously, I need to be careful with the notes that I'm playing, the chords that I am landing on. I don't remember the chord progression. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, I can use my marker track, I think, for this. Okay, so... not that. Let me add. Okay, marker track. Or instead of the marker track, you know what? Okay, let me do this. Okay, so this is C. This is D. What are you doing here? Come on, man. Why is that happening to me? Doesn't matter. Okay, back to the original idea. This is C. Here we have D. This was A minor, if I'm not mistaken. This was F. Yeah, F here. Go back to C. Same deal, D. But here we go to G. And the turnaround, and F. Right there. Same deal with that one. All right. good. So back to our lead. All right. Kind of like that. Just so you guys see the notes that I'm playing and it's not so boring. Nope. I like the first part. Let me get that down before I forget it. Nice. Need to correct the notes here. I like it. And I want this lead to have some sense of space, like we're not in a rush to go anywhere. I don't want to play notes like this. Of course, I'm going to be being funny. Like, fill up the entire thing with notes. I want to take my time and make a statement. I think this is a very nice opening statement, very dreamy. Okay, and it's a good practice to reuse some of the melodic material that you've created, so not necessarily write something new every bar. So what I'll do is use repetition or unity, at least for the start, and introduce variation at the end, so it's not a copy and paste of the whole thing. But something weird happened. See if that was. Yeah. But timing of this one is a little off. Hold on, guys. Okay, cool. But I want to do something different here. Where we land on G. just felt that this note, there was a very big gap or big leap from here to here, and I want these notes to kind of point us towards a little bit of a climax or a little bit of tension there, like something special is going to happen. And I don't want the end to feel so calm like this. I want it to feel a little bit more epic. I'm hearing that E in here somewhere. Okay, let's see. Feel these notes are just getting into too high of an octave. Maybe. Let's consider the ending. No. Okay, let me do this. I like that, but here... Nope. Nope. Maybe. Let's see. This part I don't like. Sounds too stable. Better. I'm not liking this, guys. Just this ending for whatever reason. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, cool. One more time. See if I'm happy with it. Okay, I'm gonna run with it, and if I need to change it later, I will. All right. Let's set up a shared reverb here. Let's use Glow and some kind of synth hall preset. Large, rich hall. Yeah, why not? Set to 100%. Wet to dry, and let's send our blade lead into this synth verb. Alright, sounding pretty good and dreamy to me. I feel like I want something rhythmic, something staccato, choppy, because the lead has very long, sustained notes and a lot of space. If I were to create some kind of synth or strings patch or a pad, would be more of the same. So we always have to think about contrast, right? So what are the elements that we have, and how can we bring contrast in a way that enhances the flavor of our idea? Again, if I were to use some kind of long strings patch or kind of pad, then that would be like adding more sugar to this cake that we're baking, right? It's more of the same thing. So I want something to contrast the lead, which could be some kind of chord pattern or staccato arps or whatever. So let's see what we can find. Let's go back to our trusty PG8X and go to the Time Cop sound bank, and maybe one of the bells that we listened to earlier. Where are you, Time Cop? All right. So, bell 1 or tubular. Sounds good, but I wanted something a little stronger. Let's see if there's some kind of arp patch. Maybe this polysynth. Very cool. I think with this sound, we can do a lot of damage. My muchachos. Okay, so let's see. Let's program some kind of manual arpeggio pattern in here. And I think something playing eighth notes like this. will work quite well. Okay, so let's create a constant stream of 8 notes, and we'll take it from there. Bum, 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 bum. And I want it to feel lopsided, not like or square. Like you can definitely hear it cycling through every, I don't know, bar or so. I want it to feel a little random. So what I can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's do this. Then I'll duplicate. And introduce a little bit of variation here and there. Sounds good. I like it. Let's work on the sound a little bit. I can make it more plucky like this. We'll open it up. Let's make it very plucky. Nice. Let's add some delay and see if it comes alive. Definitely. Let's send it to the shared synth reverb. I like it. Let's compress this thing just so none of the notes jump out at us, which I do feel every now and then. True dynamics, any compressor, any like one knob compressor you have will work just fine. Something like the Universal Audio LA2A or any of that kind of a clone. In this case, I'm just gonna pick any, I don't know, any patch here that I see. Or you know what? Let me do my own thing. Very nice. Okie doke. Alright, I want to create just one more element. We have a lead, we have the ARP, which is sounding glorious, by the way. Really made this piece come alive, and I think we could use something like an accent. Some of these bell patches that I played, to me, sounded really good. Alright. The tubular. Yeah, I'm not gonna debate internally too much about that. Exactly that kind of pattern will work. Exactly that. Right out of the gate. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see. Nice. Here's where we need to be careful. This is D. Okay, and we are on G here, and E is a little dissonant. Go down to G. And D. Shorter notes, maybe? Let's make all these notes just a little shorter. Okay, let's get fancy. I can use a function in Studio One, length. I'm going to set them all to quarter notes. Set all to quarter notes, and boom. So here, nice. And let's use the synthwave version of beer goggles, which is adding delay and reverb to everything. Let's call back our trusty, what was it called? Replica. There are some nasty frequencies there that I'm gonna get rid of shortly. Some nasty resonances there. It's fine. Let's use... Mm-hmm. Nice. All right, my friends. So we have this very nice initial idea for a track or a main stack consisting of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements: the bass, the drums, the lead, arp, and the synth. Well, this is a bells part. Created all live, sparked by an initial inspiration of just playing with presets until I found something that that caught my attention. Just imagine that by doing that and just having a spark of an idea, I then created all of these other parts around that, and all of a sudden there was no music. I hadn't made any music today until an hour ago. It all just comes to life very quickly. All right, so I'm going to take a 2-minute break and then come back and turn this very short idea, or this initial idea, into a like 90-second track. I'm going to show you a different version of a quick and dirty track that's not the basic cuts that I typically do with a very, I would say, strict structure of 8 bars of intro, 8 bars of verse, etc., etc. I'm going to do something more loose, a little bit more I would say more exploratory, if you will. So don't go anywhere. I'll come back in 2 minutes, my friends. All right, my friends, I'm back. Hey, Mick. Yeah, these breaks are like the teacher in school when they left the room for a minute or two. Cool. So before I forget, let me discuss a couple things. First thing is that, do I believe this idea, this main stack, to be perfect? No. Is it perfectly mixed? No. Does it have all the sonic impact that I'm looking for, that I'm going for? No. But the important thing is that at this moment, this serves the purpose of just keeping me going, and it's a great idea starter, right? I don't need to spend 4 or 5 hours just to get to this point. 4 or 5 parts in an hour or so, because I'm spending a lot of time just discussing what I'm doing. Otherwise, this could have taken me easily half an hour, 40 minutes, or even less to get to the same point. And what I was trying to say is, don't spend 4 or 5 hours getting your initial idea, and also don't cram all the parts that you think that you'll need. Like, instead of 5 parts that as I'm showing you here, create 12. Forget about that. Also, don't worry too much about the mixing and whether it's the right samples and it's the right snare, Because if you get into that mindset of I need the perfect snare, the perfect this, the perfect that, instead of 40 minutes, it's going to take you 5 hours to get there, right? You're going to spend an hour just browsing hi-hats, and that's a waste of time. And following MacGyver's rule, remember, use what you have and just make decisions quickly. Down the line, if I feel like this snare that I chose in, I don't know, 40 seconds or something is not giving me the power, the impact that I want, I can change it at that point. But until that happens, right, I don't have my mind working on all of these things and thinking if I have all the right sounds that I need and if everything's perfect, right? It'll come to a time when I evaluate that, right? But for now, this is a great starting point. Don't spend 5 hours. And if it's taking you today, let's say 5 hours, or that's exaggerated, let's say 2 hours to get to this exact same point, then reevaluate why and make decisions quicker. Learn to make quick decisions, and also learn to just go with the flow and not worry too much about the sound design, about the impact, because if you stop and edit, right, you break your creative flow to think about the levels and the EQ and the compression and this and that, right? You're switching from creative mode to editing mode. It's like you're using a different part of your brain. That constant back and forth is very inefficient. So stay in creative mode, just throwing ideas into the pile, working them. This is not perfect. The mix is not perfect. It's not sounding exactly the way that I would like it to sound. But again, for an idea, it's perfectly fine because I may never turn this into a full-length track. So it's part training, part practice, but also part just generating ideas. So if I want to create a full-length track in 2 weeks from now, I can go and listen to all the ideas that I've created in the past 2 weeks, and then I pick the ones that I like, right? And they're almost there in terms of the sonic impact and the sound, right? But I don't need each of these ideas to work them to a place where they are perfect. It's just an 8-bar loop, right? Again, just move quickly, make decisions quickly, use what you have, and if it's taking you more than 2 hours to get to this exact same point where we are, you got to simplify, man. You got to simplify. Otherwise, music production is going to be a pain in the butt. It's going to be very frustrating, and it's going to take you 6 months to produce 2 tracks. All right, rant over. Let's see. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I want to turn this into like 90 seconds of music in a more loose structure, which I used to call an atom. Atom as in what matter is made of. Neutrons, electrons, atoms, like an atom. It's kind of the precursor structure to the basic kata and the advanced kata. All right, so for this atom, it's simply I'll create a quick and dirty arrangement with this 8-bar loop. And I'm not going to worry about proper transitions and fills. Yeah, I do want to use and test out those very nice toms that I selected, but I'm not going to worry about this short piece having a cohesive flow of emotion, proper transitions. Same as we created the initial idea, it's going to be very quick and dirty, just to serve as a vignette, or think of it as a when, I don't know if you've ever been involved in visual production like a movie. I haven't, but I know that there's this thing called a storyboard, and the storyboard is a drawing of a scene where you see the characters and what they're doing and where. This is the same thing that I want to create with this quick and dirty arrangement. Think of it as a vignette or a storyboard. Why? Because just listen to an 8-bar loop over and over is super boring. So I'm just going to give this 8-bar loop a little bit more time, right? Excellent. So let's see where we are. Let me mute all these things. And see how we can start. All right. Let's start with our ARP. Just arbitrarily made a decision that I'm going to start with the ARP. So here's our first 8 bars of that. And just to make it easier visually, don't pay attention to the text there says. And what I want to do is I want to filter in the ARP, possibly automate the decay. Okay, and then here, let's get started with the drums, probably. Okay, let's get the groove going. I think where we get to this first section, I also want the bass playing. Let's keep going. I think here somewhere we could use these bells, possibly here. But, oops, let me clone. Let's just use one note as a foreshadowing technique. Okay, this is visually bugging me, so I'm just going to call this A, B, C, and I want the lead, okay, definitely to play here, but what I want to do is filter the lead in kind of as a foreshadowing, so I'm going to write that down here. I'm going to do filter in the lead, bars 29 to 37. Okay. And I want to have the lead playing here, but as a kind of break. And maybe with the full bells pattern. What I hear is that the rhythm of the bells are fighting the lead a little bit. When they're on their own, it sticks out to me. So instead of changing the pattern, what I'm going to do here is... Okay, let's do this. I'm going to have the drums playing with the lead on their own. here I'm going to bring everyone back. And the lead, I wanted to start filtering out like bar 57, maybe. Filter, filter, filter. Okay. Let's bring back the ARP. And this is pretty much the structure that I'm going to use today. Very simple. It's, you saw there that I'm not really following like a verse chorus structure or staying strictly with 8-bar segments. I just kind of got it started, got it going, then came into what you could consider the verse, then added the lead, then went to a breakdown, then bring everyone back in. And here we're going to end things possibly with a fade out or something. So again, that's a great structure for this kind of vignette or atom or storyboard scene, right? Just to give us an idea of how this 8-bar loop or main stack could sound like if we give it a little bit more time in an arrangement. That's going to be perfectly fine. All right, so let's go back to the ideas that I had initially, which were... Oh, and before we do that, let me just mix this better. Oh, we didn't use the bells anywhere. Let me see where we can use the bells. Yeah, let's bring them in here. All right, so I'm gonna loop the music here in the loudest, most energetic section, because if I start my mix here where I don't have all the elements, then it doesn't make much sense to do that. And let's do this. Let me bring down all the faders so we can reboot this mix and build it from the ground up. All right, there we go. Let's set our kick to peak at -6. Let's bring up the snare to where we like it. Maybe there. Hats. I don't want them to be too prominent. Right there. Bass. Bass is important. I don't want it to overpower or feel weak. Overpowering. Weak. So somewhere in the middle. There, I think. Cool. The lead. Same deal with the lead and the other elements. I don't want the lead to overpower everything like this. Or have it be so quiet that it's lost in there, like so. Obviously, it's a middle ground between those 2 points. And the nature of this lead, because it's dreamy, has a lot of reverb and detail, by the nature of that, it doesn't have to be up in our face and super present. So I would say, thinking of the band, with the band or just a little bit behind the band will work quite well. There, it feels good. Same deal with the ARP. Nice. Now the bells. What's the deal with the bells? Oh yeah. The bells are a little too quiet, so let me boost the volume here. Where's the level? Okay, right here. Very nice. I feel the kick sticking out just a little bit too much. All right, cool. Let's add some processing to the drum bus. I don't know if my computer will fry or something because of the live streaming, the recording, and using all of these plugins. We'll see. Let's add a little bit of drive to the drums. A little bit of bus compression. Just going for 2 dB of gain reduction. Now I feel that the snare reverb is being eaten up by the arrangement, all the other stuff playing, so I'm gonna boost the level of that in a second. Cool. Right there. Nice, I'm liking that. Let's also apply a little bit of processing to the synths. Synth bus, the same kind of deal. Some tape. A little bit of drive. And a little bit of bus compression. Very gentle. just to get 2 dB of gain reduction here. Just to give it some glue, right there, it's fine. All right. I like where this is going very much. So now with that quick mix out of the way, let's focus on some of those automation moves and creating or finishing out the rest of our quick and dirty arrangement. So we said, filter in the ARP, automate the decay. Jawohl, all right. ARP here. We could filter in the ARP using the filter envelope control, or we could use a dedicated filter for that. Let's use filter shaper. And as with the rest of the plugin choices that I've made, any filter plugin, possibly an EQ as well, can work just the same. It's just different flavors. Okay, create the automation lane. Hold on. All right, my dear friends. All right. Cool. And let's also automate the decay. Cool or cool. Let me set my loop here so I can jump back anytime. And here, let's make it more plucky. Yeah, that'll work. So filter in the ARP, automate the decay. Okay, we got that down. I still feel like we need something towards the end of this first section. Maybe these foreshadowing bells. Nope. Let's see. What if we played this same note here? Yeah, that'll work. Let me just color this one differently in case I use it somewhere else. Nice, I'm liking it. All right. I want to crash here. And let's use a bit of delay. Nice. And now that we're talking about crash, let's copy it over a few times. I feel like the ARP, we could play with this decay automation in plenty of places, at least throughout this first section, just so it doesn't get stale and boring. You can just randomly do some stuff like this. Just to give it a little bit of movement. And what about this? Nice. So when we come into the section with the lead, we get that boost in energy. Very nice. All right, so that takes care, I think, of the ARP throughout the first half of the track. We said we wanted to filter in the lead bars 97 and 37. Did I say 97? 27. All right, lead. And let's use same filter plugin. And let's go with a warm low pass, 24 dB per octave. That's our automation lane. Cool. I like to create nodes at the beginning and end of every section like this when I automate parameters. Just so, let's say if I, instead of clicking and dragging a node, I were to bring the whole thing down like this, it would only affect this section as opposed to if I didn't have these nodes, for example, like this, and I were to mistakenly bring it down, you see, it affected the entire track. I don't want that. So that's why I always use these nodes at the beginning and end of every section whenever I automate a parameter. It always helps and saves me from doing something stupid. Okay, I'm not hearing what I want to hear. Not sure why. Hold on. This is the thing about automation, that these kinds of things can take a long while to make them sound the way that you want them to sound. So I'm just going to go with good enough for now. Yeah, I think it was just too shallow here at the beginning. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, and that takes care of that. While that lead is playing, I think we could also play with the decay of the ARP. Okay, where am I? Here. Kind of the same deal. And like so. Nice. Let's listen in context. I think we went too far here. Nice. On second thought, I kind of like the idea of listening to this, just taking it all in, Like the clouds parted. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let me filter out the lead. Lead. Somewhere around. Okay, here. These bells are throwing me off. Oh, check it out. No wonder I couldn't hear the lead. We don't have lead here. It's here in the section before. Oh, silly me. No wonder. It sounded weird. Okay, so halfway through this section, and this is music production live, guys. Warts and all, mistakes and all. I'm sure this happens to you. It happens to me all the time. That's how it is. You just pick yourself back up and keep going. Okay, let me mute the bells. Let me start the filtering. The filtration or the filtering, I don't know. Just a little earlier. Yep. Let's listen in context. Nice. I like that. And I have two more things to do here before we wrap up for the day. I want to do a fade out and create some drum fills. gonna copy this one more time to give myself some room to maneuver with the fade out. Okay. Hey, Enrique, Paul, Jax, Wolfsten. All right, that will work just fine. So that's that for the ending. And what was the other thing that I said? The drum fills. Okay. Drum fills. So I certainly want drum fills here, here, possibly here, and here. All right, let's go for it. We can do a nice snare fill here. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Set this to 16th notes. Ba-bum, ba-bum. Ba-bum, bum, ba-bum. Ba-bum, bum. Ba-bum. Ba-bum, ba-bum. But with a kick. Yeah, that'll work. Let me color this differently because I'm gonna reuse this thing. Let's reuse this thing here. That takes care of that. Nice. All right. Toms. Do. Oops, my computer there is struggling a little bit, but that's fine. We'll make it through. We're almost at the end of this thing. Create a VCA channel, which is just like a group channel to control the volume. All right. Cool. Let's use that here. In context. Okay, I think we're done with this piece. Let me just do a quick review section by section to see if it's ready for prime time. Yeah. All right, friends, I think we're ready to play this from beginning to end. Then we'll come back and call it a day. Here we go. All right, my friends. So I hope that you got a lot from this live stream. And just as a very brief recap, today we used spontaneous inspiration to create this piece, which is basically I just fired up a synth, in this case, the great and free PG8X. We used Time Cop's awesome sound bank, which you can get at, what was it, the Patch Bay UK or something. Just, I don't know, Google it. And I just played a bunch of patches. Actually, it wasn't a bunch, like 7. And a lot of what I played sparked my interest and curiosity. I just settled for that sound for the lead, the Blade Runner thing. And I just simply created 4 or 5 elements around that initial idea, and I didn't know what I was going to do before I sat down today. And that's the power of spontaneous inspiration, right? Just going with the flow, staying in the creative state of mind, using the left side. Is it the left side of the brain or the right side? Well, the creative side of the brain. Forget about editing. Forget about getting everything perfect, the perfect hi-hat, the perfect snare, etc. That doesn't matter. And if you can get to a place where you can create the initial idea like I did in around an hour or so, and create a short piece like this within 2 hours, then you're golden, right? Of course, I talk you through everything, and it would have taken me like an hour just to do this entire thing on my own in silence. But in any case, you can work on your skills to create music like this in a very short time. And again, this is not a full-length track. There's not it's not well, the transitions are not well smooth, etc. Because remember, this is just a vignette. This is just a storyboard. If I want to turn this into a full-length track, I could do so in a couple of weeks or in a year from now. Sometimes it happens to me this year. I've turned tracks, I've created full-length tracks from ideas just like I showed you today that I created over a year ago. I have like this huge arsenal of ideas that are just there waiting for me to do something with them, and I have so many, and I can create so many on the spot like this, that sometimes I don't get back to them. I don't have time. I would need like 1,000 lifetimes just to turn all that into music, and that's fine, because creating music like this, like I showed you today, the intent is not necessarily to turn this into a full-length track. You could do so if you wanted, but it's mainly building and developing our idea generation muscle, right? Just building our skills to where we can create music on the spot like that. And if you want to, turn it into full-length tracks. So again, this is spontaneous inspiration composition. If you want to know more about this, I have a boot camp coming up on April the 8th. We're going to kick off. It's going to be awesome. Not only you're going to find out about spontaneous inspiration, not only learning what it is, but you're going to put it into action, as well as my other 4 or 5 techniques, so you can kill writer's block and kill the sameness of starting all your tracks the same way and having them sound the same way. If you're interested in that, would like to know more, follow the link in the description to get in touch with me. It's going to be life-changing if you ever have writer's block, and if you ever struggle with coming up with ideas for your music. And as you hear in the chat, someone talking about problems or having issues with creating drum fills, where just look up here on YouTube. I have a video called Drum Fills. Look it up. It's there. It's like an hour-long masterclass where I just talk about drum fills and very simple and easy approaches for beginners. And if you're advanced in production, I'm sure you can still get plenty of value from that. Or you can watch the tutorials at my website, synthwavedojo.com, where I have a full course, which is just a collection of some of my YouTube here videos called Basic Drums, Basic Melodies, Basic Chords, Basic whatever. It's like you can get so much value, so much great education for free that it's really not even funny. In any case, my friends, thank you very much for joining this live stream. Thank you very much for making Synthwave, for keeping Synthwave alive. And I look forward to you joining me in the Idea Machine Bootcamp, so we can kill writer's block and lack of inspiration once and for all, my friends. And as always, you know where I am. Send me your comments, your questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great rest of your day. Ciao, my muchachos. Keep synthwaving. Keep synthwave alive. Until the next one.